A car rolling off the production line every 4.5 seconds should be terrible, cheap, fragile, rushed, and full of problems. Tesla says it may be their most reliable vehicle ever. One of those statements has to be wrong. This video explains how Tesla claims its fastest-built car could also be its most dependable, and why that idea threatens the entire auto industry. Because the Model 2 isn't just Tesla's cheapest vehicle, it proves Tesla removed something every other automaker still depends on. Once you see what that is, the 4.5-second number stops sounding reckless and starts sounding inevitable.
The rule Tesla broke. Most people misunderstand what Tesla actually did here. They didn't speed up manufacturing, they deleted steps. For more than a century, automakers followed the same rule without questioning it. More parts mean better cars. More welds mean stronger frames. More inspections mean higher quality. Tesla bet against that entire belief system. The Model 2 moves this fast not because Tesla ignored quality, but because they removed the things that usually create quality problems in the first place. This is the rule Tesla follows. The best part is no part. The best process is no process. Every bolt introduces misalignment risk. Every weld becomes a future stress point. Every handoff between machines creates a new opportunity for error. Legacy factories manage this risk by slowing down, inspecting constantly, and fixing mistakes after they appear. Tesla chose the opposite approach. They redesigned the car so mistakes are harder to create at all. That decision changes everything.
Why speed is possible at all. Take a traditional compact car. Its rear structure alone is built from dozens of stamped panels, hundreds of welds, and multiple robotic stations that must stay synchronized. If one weld drifts slightly, the defect hides until much later, when it becomes expensive to fix. Tesla removed that entire system. The Model 2 replaces large sections of the car with single-piece structural castings formed in seconds. No welds to inspect, no alignment to correct later, no accumulated tolerance stack-ups. That's why the line can move at a pace that sounds impossible. Less to assemble, less to inspect, less to fix. But this is where tension enters the story. When you build this way, you don't get second chances. Traditional lines can slow down and recover. A hyper-fast line cannot. Tesla is betting their manufacturing precision is good enough that slowing down would actually make quality worse, not better. That bet explains why competitors aren't responding publicly, because copying this means tearing out the philosophy their factories were built on.
The machines that can't fail. Everything about the Model 2 line depends on a small number of machines working perfectly all the time. There is no buffer, no manual fallback, almost no recovery window. In the center of this system are giga-presses so large they replace entire factory buildings. A traditional car uses dozens of parts just to form its structural sections. The Model 2 forms them in one shot. That speed is unprecedented. So is the risk. If a welding robot fails on a traditional line, humans intervene and production limps forward. If a giga-press fails, everything stops. No partial output, no rework station, no human fix. Tesla synchronized multiple presses, subassembly cells, battery lines, and final integration so tightly, the factory behaves like one machine. If any system drifts out of tolerance, the entire line halts instantly. That's not fragility, that's intolerance for error. And intolerance only works if your data is right.
The real bottleneck, up to this point, this looks like a hardware story. But machines were never the real constraint in car manufacturing. Coordination was. Cars aren't just metal, they're batteries, electronics, software, calibration, and timing. Traditional factories slow down because coordination breaks under speed. Tesla attacked that problem by removing decisions, simplified wiring, fewer control units, pre-validated modules, minimal post-assembly calibration. If a component can't be installed in one motion, it doesn't belong. At 4.5 seconds per car, decisions are fatal. Predictability is everything. Which brings us to the most fragile variable in the entire system:
The battery. Cells vary, chemistry varies, thermal behavior varies. Tesla standardized the Model 2 battery not for maximum range, but for manufacturing consistency. Fewer variants, narrower tolerances, less testing after installation. If that consistency holds, the line flows uninterrupted. If it doesn't, the promise collapses. This is where the Model 2 reveals its true purpose. It wasn't designed for individuality. It was designed for repeatability.
Consequences. At this level of optimization, mistakes don't appear gradually. They appear all at once. At 4.5 seconds per car, defects don't surface on day one. They surface months later, after thousands of cars are already driving. Tesla shifted quality control upstream into software, sensors, and data models. That's powerful. It's also unforgiving. If a tolerance threshold is wrong, every car inherits it, and stopping the line isn't an option, because the economics only work at extreme scale. That pressure changes everything. Early Model 2 buyers aren't test drivers, they're data generators. Every vibration, charge cycle, and temperature swing feeds the system, keeping the line alive. The real question isn't whether Tesla can build fast, it's whether Tesla can learn faster than it builds.
Why this matters. Once Model 2s reach real garages, the factory stops mattering. Trust takes over. A car built in 4.5 seconds challenges a century-old belief that time equals quality. Some buyers will never accept it. Others will see automation removing inconsistency entirely. That split reaction is why this matters. If early owners report stability and longevity, speed stops being the risk. Slowness becomes the liability. Legacy factories can't adapt without massive destruction of capital, and that leads to the final shift.
Tesla didn't optimize the Model 2 to be impressive. They optimized it to be repeatable. A car every 4.5 seconds only matters if the system runs for years. That means Tesla isn't planning to sell a few million cars. They're planning to flood the market. Lower prices force responses. Responses destroy margins. Margins kill factories. This isn't competition anymore. It's survival. That's why the silence matters. Not because Tesla is faster, because no one else can follow. So here's the line. Either a car built in 4.5 seconds is the future of quality, or the auto industry is about to learn what happens when speed goes too far. There is no middle ground, because if Tesla is right, everything built the old way becomes overpriced overnight. And if Tesla is wrong, this becomes the most expensive manufacturing mistake ever made. By the time most people understand what the Model 2 really represents, the shift will already be over. Factories don't adapt fast. Markets don't wait. Revolutions don't ask permission. If you want to stay ahead of what Tesla is actually building, not the headlines, not the hype, make sure you're subscribed, because the next phase isn't about cars anymore. It's about who still exists after 2026.